It's now time for Cappy, the Real Paranormal Podcast with host Johnny Rushing, the founder and lead investigator of Central Alabama Paranormal Investigations. We now take you to the studio for today's show. Here is Johnny Rushing.
Welcome aboard. It's another episode of Cappy, the Real Paranormal. John, it's the real paranormal.
It's the real paranormal.
The real paranormal.
The real thing.
It's not the paranormal you see on television.
Well, hopefully they're searching for this paranormal because they're here.
Yeah, I hope they're searching for the right paranormal because then they're in the right spot if they're here. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the real paranormal because that's what we do every day. That's it. That's all. Nothing more. We don't talk about sports. We don't talk about
politics.
I don't think you can say that on the radio, John.
Oh, well.
You're going to get the FCC on us, man. Don't do that, please. Please. Men in Black are coming to see us now.
Well, that would be paranormal.
Yeah.
Because, so I should say more or less?
Probably more.
Probably more.
Because they have guns.
Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. I think we also have a couple other people with us here tonight, and it is who?
Tom, are you there?
Or maybe I was wrong.
Tom.
Hey, there he is.
My lovely wife, billing, but
yeah,
she didn't tell me.
She dropped the
Sorry
ball.
about that.
Well, how's everybody doing? Did everybody have a good weekend?
Well, doing well. Yes, very. How about yourself?
I had a great weekend.
I had a great weekend too. I drove across the United States for the weekend. That's what I did for a weekend getaway. I drove.
Yeah, that was the pictures were really cool. Those were really cool. Thanks for sharing those. Those were really cool.
Yeah, we went to my daughters finally had their graduation, John. They graduated, but they didn't get to walk because of COVID. So
oh man, that sucks.
The school that they did their high school through and some college courses decided, okay, we're going to have a graduation in Pennsylvania for all the kids that graduated in 20, 21, 22, and 23.
That must have been huge.
It was like 1,100 people. Just graduates.
Oh, nice.
And then another 15, 20,000 people in the stands. And it was amazing. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of driving.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I got to do something that I never thought I would ever get to do again.
What was that?
I got to eat at a Quincy's Steakhouse. Not a sponsor, just tripped me out. I got to eat at a Quincy's Steakhouse. I didn't know that was possible. I really didn't.
I didn't know they were still around.
There's one left. There's one left in the entire United States. Everybody in Selma remembers Quincy's. Quincy's used to be the spot. You go there and have steak or buffet or their amazing breakfast. Like I said, not a sponsor.
Love their rolls.
And their rolls, yes. I had about 4 of those.
Did you really?
Yes, they still taste just as good too. But yeah, there's one left in Florence, South Carolina. So if anybody wants to go to Quincy's that you never thought you'd be able to do again, go to Florence, South Carolina, and right there off of 95 is Quincy's Family Steakhouse. That I thought,
and it looks like the other Quincy's did.
It does, identical. Yeah, that's
awesome.
It's done up just like that. That same green and beige sign, and just it was. It was a surprise. We were actually talking about getting something to eat.
Kind of like the last Blockbuster.
Yeah, right. We were talking about getting something to eat, and so I had Paramama get on the phone and see what restaurants were close by. I said, why don't you put in buffets near me? Because I was really hungry. And so she did that. And before it even came up on the phone, we saw the Sign. And you know what I did, John, when I saw the sign? I said it was an old sign.
Yep.
I said, man, that's 20 plus years and they ain't taken that sign down.
No way.
There's no way. Yeah, but then she looked it up, and sure enough, and so we went to the next exit, turned around, and came back and pulled in the parking lot and said, lo and behold, there's a Quincy's here. That was the highlight of the trip. I mean, my daughter walking and doing the whole graduation. It was pretty cool, too. But Quincy's.
Quincy's
was the whole thing. Yeah.
Sorry, Shayna.
Sorry, darling. But
Shauna.
You're in trouble.
Man.
Yeah.
It's Quincy's. Yeah. She was unimpressed. Because she didn't know. I mean, she doesn't remember. She wasn't alive when Quincy's was around, so she didn't know.
Ouch! I feel old.
Yeah, that
was the back in the.
Yeah, it was like it was the mid to late '90s when Quincy's left. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 20 plus years ago. But yeah, anyway, it was an awesome trip. A lot of driving, with very little sleep, and it was a crazy weekend. But we had a really, really good time. But I have decided from now on, anytime. Paramama has family up there too, and we went to visit them as well. And so I said, the next time we come to visit your family members that live up here, we're going to fly. We're not going to drive.
I don't blame you a bit.
Because when I say
That was a long drive.
Yeah.
when I say we drove up there, that means that I drove up there and back. So yeah, that was not fun. But I'm used to it anyway. But John, what was your weekend like?
It was pretty normal for me. Watered the plants, took care of the animals.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say drunk in the gutter. And
No, that's every other weekend.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right. I'm so sorry. You're absolutely right.
That's right. Those are odd weekends.
Yeah,
Right?
the odd weekends.
That's the odd weekends.
I mean, I'm always odd, but those are the weekends. Yeah.
You just remember what I said. I'm not bailing you out again.
That happened once.
Okay, I'm just saying.
And they dropped the charges at the end.
That's what we. That's what we know and love about you, though. So that's okay.
Yeah.
That they dropped the charges?
No, that's what we're surprised about.
You're odd.
Oh, yes,
You're
yes.
odd, yep.
I'm not normal. That
Well,
means-
Beth and Tom, how was your weekend?
No.
We had a great weekend.
Awesome.
It was we did a lot of binge watching this weekend of a show that we just love, and
Did y'all
And,
veg out the weekend? Are you serious?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
we
I
vegged.
missed that.
We vegged.
I need to do that. I do.
It was
It
awesome.
was
I
so
need to
hot.
veg out.
We
It was.
so hot.
Why go outside and melt when you can stay
You
inside and
couldn't
watch
go outside.
Mayberry rebuns? Why not? Just do that.
Mayberry. Or
That's
There's
cool.
no way. And Sunday afternoon rained.
Yeah.
Oh,
That made it worse. Sunday
yes,
afternoon.
yes. It was horrible. But yeah, so everybody had a great weekend. I'm glad. I'm super, super glad. Well, tonight I want to talk about the fear factor of the paranormal. You know what I mean? The spooky part of the paranormal. What people think about the paranormal before going in, and then how that changes them, not just their perception of the paranormal, but also their attitude, you know, and how they approach things afterwards, and why a lot of our clients say, well, I might want to tag along with you guys sometimes, or even I might want to join the team. And we've had members come because they were clients. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
our amazing media manager, Stephanie, and her family, and Paratine and all them, that's how they came on the team, because they were clients first.
Yep.
And that was, we fell in love with them and they fell in love with us. So, I mean, that's a great way to recruit, I guess. You don't go into a client recruiting, but you go into it, and I guess if it just clicks, then yeah.
Preston and Lydia, same thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Preston and Lydia as well. Yeah. It just clicked, and it was a good thing.
I mean, I've said it before. I mean, anything you do the first time, there's going to be a little bit of trepidation.
Yeah.
A little bit of fear there. And it's just getting past that and learning.
Yep.
I mean, knowledge is the number one enemy of fear.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just,
I agree.
but yeah, everyone always tells, oh, well, I couldn't do that. I'd be too scared. I was like, you go with a team you could trust. You go in there with someone that, you know is going to have your back, because they have, everyone on that team is looking out for, the person next to them and the person behind them. I mean, and the fear factor, goes away pretty quickly then.
I believe that some people feel that when a paranormal team comes in, that it's going to be like poltergeist, where things start flying and not just, a
Right,
whirlwind of things flying and dead bodies rising from the grave and stuff like that. They get that type of fear.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it right there, because I know everybody at this table right now can say that they've had someone say the whole I can't believe you do that, or how do you do that, or I don't know.
Aren't you
Right.
scared?
Yeah, aren't you scared to go into those places, and doesn't it frighten you to do this? And because we've all had that, because that's the persona that they have on what it is, because of
Media, entertainment industry.
Hollywood. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
They bundle all that paranormal all up into one big poltergeist ball.
I mean,
Exactly.
they want something that sells, and fear sells.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just the simple fact of it. Sex and fear.
Amen. Yep. And it does.
Yeah.
But then what I like about the paranormal so much is they come into it because of that fear factor, because of that need, that want of an adrenaline rush, But you would think that once they come in and see what it really is in real life, the real paranormal, then they would be disappointed. They'd be like, well, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to get scared. I thought this was a fun house. I thought this was walking through the haunted house thing, or walking through the haunted maze thing or something like that. I thought that's what this was, and I'm disappointed. But they don't, because then they say, oh my gosh, there really is something to this. It's interesting. Yeah, it didn't scare the bejesus out of me, but now I'm hooked. Now I'm interested. Now I'm wanting to know more about this. I got the fear out of the way, and now I want to know all I can.
Right. The like we said, them looking at our cameras, looking at the screen and seeing, and they're fascinated. There's no fear. There's fascination.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
go ahead.
I've noticed that happen on a couple of investigations where the people would get interested in what we were actually doing, and then they would start pointing out things themselves. Like, there's an orb, and they want to make sure you don't miss it. Because they've gotten that involved into it.
Yes, I love that. That, Tom, whenever I come in and I look over next to you and I see the client with one hand on the table, another hand on your shoulder, and their face in front of yours, and stared into the screen and saying,
yeah,
this is
that's
here.
Cool.
Could you see this? Did you see this? And
whoa, look at that. What?
Yeah. Because then two things are happening at that point. One, that solidification that they needed, because everybody's been calling them crazy and everything. All that's coming out now because they're like, here's my proof. After years and years and years of being called the wacko of the family and saying, oh, honey, you're just seeing things, or maybe you need some rest, or even maybe you need to talk to someone,
Right.
Or
Exactly.
maybe you need medication. Maybe.
It's a lot of fun when you can watch the apprehension melt away. You know what I'm saying? When they get comfortable. It's a whole lot of fun to watch that.
To me, that is the equivalent of the client equivalent of an investigator's aha moment.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect analogy. Yes.
Yeah, it really is, because you see that whole shield, that outer shell just kind of breaks away, when you see that. And I've seen it so many times where an investigator has been on the team for, sometimes close to a year, and they're always open-minded, but they're coming at it eyes wide shut, and saying, they're the first ones to say, and I hope the person that I'm talking about recognizes who I'm talking about, but they're the first person to say, no, that's not what it was. It was this. No, it can't be that. It had to be this. Or did you think about this? Or does that remind anybody else of Tom?
Yes, Tom.
Yeah.
But,
I can tell. I can tell you my aha moment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
It was the staircase in Montgomery. The photo I took, of the orb,
right,
bouncing stairs. I mean, that was my aha moment. That's when my eyes were kind of open, and I was, I really, really latched on to something. I had, experienced a few other things, but nothing quite as changing as that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Defining moment.
Yeah, that defining moment of when you realize, okay, there is something to this. I'm not wasting my time. Now I want to know every damn thing I can about it. There's nothing.
Exactly.
There's nothing I want to be left unturned now.
Yeah, you just get hungry.
Oh,
for more.
yes. And you see, that's what I've
see it.
Yeah, and that's what I've always talked about with aha moments, because people, they hear me talk about aha moments and they're like, Johnny just likes to see that moment. He just likes to see that shell slowly fall away and that realization of, that person. But it's not just that. I do like that. I'm not going to lie to you. Whenever I look over and their eyes is as big as a saucer and they're like, holy crap, you were right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also really, really love them after that moment, because after that moment, any and everything they can, usually the next things that they talk to me about is, hey, I was doing some research on this here. Did you ever think about this right here? What about this right here? I know you're doing the show tonight. What do you want to talk about? And you see that passion start to build. You know what I mean? You see that person that was so entangled in skepticism and a willingness to accept, but not necessarily an ability you know.
Right.
Like the comedian says, I had the right to remain silent. I just didn't have the ability, you know.
Right.
So, but you see them, they're wanting to accept that. They just can't. They can't bring themselves to do it. And Tom was that's the reason I use Tom, is because he was a perfect example, because Tom came into this skeptic. He came into this saying, I'm just going to, you know, make sure my wife's okay. That's what I'm going to do. And then after so many times, he was the chauffeur / bodyguard.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Right.
Yeah. So
Everybody should have one.
that's right.
A Tom?
Awesome.
Yeah, a Tom. Yeah, that's what she means.
Everybody have a Tom.
That's right. But he, you know, and then that bug hit him, you know, Beth coming out of an investigation saying this, and this happened. And that bug kind of grabbed him and he says, well, I'll check it out. And so from that moment up until that place in Montgomery, he was, you know, that guy. He was that guy that was always, you know, and he's still skeptic, obviously, because that's what makes him such a damn good investigator. He's still skeptic, but he's now, after that moment, he got that bug to where it's not just a bug anymore. Now it's a passion, you know, and that was me at 8 years old. Whenever what happened to me at 8, I was just like, from that moment on, I said, I got to know everything there is to know about this. You know, and 48 years later, I still haven't found out everything there is to know about this.
Right.
And I'm glad, because I don't want to. I want to keep learning. And usually whenever we do the class, I'll learn something. Someone will ask a question and I'll answer it. You ever educate yourself and it surprise you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That gets me every time. I'll be talking and someone in a class will answer or ask a question, and the first thing that pops in my mind is that's a damn good question. You know, but then I start thinking about
get
that.
back to you on that.
Yeah, and I start thinking about it and everything, and I'll start answering it. And as I'm answering it, stuff starts popping in my head, because I have the worst memory in the world. So sometimes I have to talk about stuff, and I'll do that, and then I'll say, "Well, wait a minute. If that's true, then this must be true." You know, or if this is the way it is, then that's got to be the way it is. And I think that's a lot when you hear an instructor or a teacher of any field say that they learn something every time they teach. It's usually because they've made themselves think. Or they had to go to research and figure it out because someone stumped them.
Yes, I don't know anyone that could stump Johnny Rushing at all.
Except for John Radar Bowen.
Just a little bit. I mean, well, you know, speaking of, you know, aha moments, I'll never forget going over doing evidence review at Beth's place, and us catching that entity from the law office, no less. I mean, that was, I mean, I completely missed it. I thought maybe it was a little bit of you know, a mist or something like that, or a form. No, there was a full face there. I think, Beth, you pointed it out, didn't you?
I'm not sure if I did or not. I remember it, but
I am. She did.
know.
Yeah. I
I did.
Yeah,
I
she
pointed
did.
it out.
She said,
There's
what
a
is this here?
face.
Yeah. And, you know, the first thing that pops in your mind is pareidolia.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Right.
the phenomenon of seeing a face and everything, including the moon, you know, or a packaging label like we did at the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, but and that's why I love this team so much, because nobody just said, yeah, Beth, you're right, there's a ghost. You know, it's a ghost. You know, no one did that.
Oh, no.
We said, let's look at this. Let's figure this out. And we did. We spent a lot of time on it. And then we figured out what it was. And then when all natural explanations went away, then a supernatural or paranormal explanation came into play.
Exactly.
And that's how it has to happen. If you don't do it that way, then you're going to have a lot of equipment, or not equipment, but evidence that's going to eventually destroy your
credibility.
Yes, absolutely.
Say it with us, class. Credibility.
Today's word is credibility.
Brought to you by the letter C.
Capital, no less.
Capital.
But yeah, that's what getting to that point is a milestone for an investigator. And then everything after that, I say your aha moment is your biggest paycheck ever. And then everything after that paycheck, you can pay everything off. You never have to pay another bill again. So everything after that is gravy. You know, you just won the lottery, which that's tonight, isn't it?
The lottery?
Yeah, they're drawing tonight
I don't know.
for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
You buy tickets, Johnny?
I didn't. We were going to, but I was so tired I forgot. And then I remembered. I remembered about an hour into Alabama. that I didn't get.
Oh, there's probably still places.
I just went through 4 states that sold them, and I remembered when I got into Alabama that I needed to get some. So, but I said, oh, I probably wouldn't win anyway.
No.
But
Well, you definitely won't win if you don't try.
that is a fact. That is a straight
Yeah.
fact. Yep. But
I've tried.
yeah, that's your lottery moment. That's it. And so everything after that is just gravy. And so that's what makes it so great. You know what I mean? But that's what makes this field so great because, you know, if we're looking for a certain type of atom, or if we're looking for a certain type of planet, or if we're looking for a certain type of animal or undiscovered species or something, then we're looking for that one thing, right? And when we find that, what do? You know, we're done. That's it. It's over. You found it. Cool. Here's your prize. We'll put your name in a book somewhere, and good boy, go home now. You know, but the paranormal, you don't have to do that because every situation that you're going to find with every client and every site is that much different. It's like an entire different episode of everything that you've done before.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the great part about what we do is we get to see this over and over and over, and it's always new.
Exactly.
Oh, it is. I mean, finding evidence, finding I mean, I anytime I see something like that, hear something like that, it's just adds that much more passion to me, you know.
Right.
When we were at Stephanie's house and we came across some evidence, John, I can't remember what it was at a residence, and it was an EVP, I believe. My memory is terrible here, but that was incredible.
Yeah.
That just made it that much more. I mean, my aha moment, I suppose, would be when I got touched
Yes.
at that house. But coming across the evidence and, you know, during case studies and finding an EVP or an image or something, it just adds that much more joy.
You're topping off your tank.
I'm sorry?
It's like you're topping off your tank. It's you're adding to that passion. It gives you more fuel to burn.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
You get a good piece of evidence. You're just like, now I want to go find more. Okay, when was the next investigation?
Yeah, right.
When are we?
Right.
What's the next case we're working on? You know, who are we helping this week? I mean, and that's what keeps me going. I mean, I can listen through. I mean, Lord, 12 hours of audio and just be sitting there like, okay. But it keeps me listening to, maybe it's that fan in the room that keeps, making that racket that makes you think there's something there that's not, or whatever. What if it is? And this is something that you need to share with that client.
Right.
I mean, it just keeps you going.
It does. I mean, it keeps me going. That's for sure.
Speaking of that,
well, I know it's also kind of it's very satisfying too when you give someone some, not necessarily resolution to something, but just something to like you said before, Johnny, not to make them realize or make them feel okay. I'm not crazy, or I'm not, I've not made this up, or I'm not. That also feels good to see that look on their face when they, understand that what they've been dealing with is real. There's no longer the worry is, am I making this all up in my head? That always makes you feel pretty good too when you do that. When you show them something that affirms what they've been feeling.
Well, you're giving them peace. And that's the thing. Exactly. I mean, you got to give some peace where you can.
Right. It won't be necessarily resolved. It doesn't solve the problem always, but it does. Sometimes it changes entire outlook, and that's the good part about being able to do that, is to kind of change their entire outlook. That will also help them deal with it.
Right. Yep. And it always gets me whenever they do that, and they see something that we capture something, and we give it to them, we show it to them, and they're all happy that that they can go back to whoever and say, "See, I'm not crazy." It gives them, but then after that's all over with, they're what was that?
I don't know. Beth.
Yes.
Did you say something?
I said, I told you.
Told
Oh, okay. So you scared me.
we got an EVP right here on.
You got an EVP right here on the radio.
Hey, I've heard of it happening.
Yeah, but I don't even know what I was saying now. That just got.
I'm so sorry.
My hood, my hood,
Your hood.
my hair. I can't even talk now. My hair stood up on my arms there. I was like, because we've talked about this area.
Yeah.
But a little hint of something coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly.
But yeah,
When
and
is
then
that coming? I'm excited.
very soon, very very soon.
Awesome.
I want to do that
Awesome.
this season. Definitely in the first season.
Yes.
How many shows do we have left?
Well, this will be 4.
This is 4.
This is 4.
Yeah, so that's 6 more shows.
So we got to get on the ball with that.
Yeah, so that's not going to be. It didn't take us long to get to 4.
Maybe
so it's not going to take long to get to 6. So
Yeah, no.
time flies.
Maybe that needs to be the season ender.
That would be a good finale.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great finale of doing an investigation on air?
And we bookend it, and then we come back and we if we
Reveal.
caught anything, do a reveal live
Do a
on radio.
reveal on the season opener.
I'm being selfish. I want it now.
Oh, I've been
I'm
itching.
liking this though. Seriously, do that as a finale,
That's a good idea.
and then do a reveal as the season opener.
Yeah.
yeah, that's an excellent idea, John.
That is an awesome. And plus, we'll be able. And if we plan it on a time instead of just making it happen, and if we plan it, we'll be able to get people to listen too, because we'll be able to give them a date
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
on when is a good time to. I love it. This is a great idea. This is a
It
great
is.
idea.
It's a good idea.
They'll call me Radar for a reason.
That's right.
That's
That
true.
is right. So yeah. So this is the 5th show, 4th show.
This is 4.
Number 4.
This
So
is
okay,
4.
so 6 more shows from now, Saturday at 7 p.m., whatever date that is, will be an investigation live on the air. Wow. Has it ever been done? It has been, because I've done it, but it's still it hasn't ever been done here.
Well,
Awesome.
So that
hey, I've been itching to get in, and
we were talking about that today. We've
Oh,
been itching for an investigation. We're starting to get that withdrawals are starting to kick in. The DTs are starting to happen, and you need an investigation.
did you see me with my
Yeah.
hand while we were talking about evidence? I'm
Yeah.
just
We need to go do something, but we got to get the evidence first. We got to get the case studies done.
Case studies come first before any other
Yeah,
fun stuff like
work before play.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Beth?
I know I'm the Debbie Downer that says we have to do that, but
No.
I'm also itching to get to another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I did just give you a case, did I not?
Did you?
Yeah, the couple in
The place. We talk about it off air.
we can say where it's at. It's in
okay.
Titus, Alabama. Didn't I give you that one, Beth?
You didn't give it to me. I have not seen that.
I'll look into it. I know we just had a case come in not long ago, so we'll check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I may have one as well. I'll let you know in a few days. But
Awesome.
Awesome.
We don't have to look for investigations; they come to find us.
Yeah,
They come
exactly.
to us. That's right.
We never have to look. So
Well, why do you think that is, Johnny?
integrity, reputation,
Yep.
credibility. Mm-hmm. We put our clients first. We care about the paranormal. We're passionate about the paranormal. We don't fake the paranormal. And
And we're so good looking.
we're so good looking. That too. I get to sit across the table from the extremely attractive John Radar Bowen.
Wait, what? Huh?
He's looking around like, who's that?
So it's a ghost behind me. Who the heck are you talking? Oh, me. Oh, okay, sure.
The reason I do what I do, because it gives me a lot of material to mess with John on.
Yes, exactly. See, that's the real thing. It's blackmail material for later.
Yeah, it's not that I get to do it with John. It just gives me a lot of stuff to talk about.
that's right. Right.
The paranormal hodgepodge of sarcasm.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So, in talking about the fear factor that brings people in, how we started this, and then the aha moment that keeps them there, what is the, in y'all's opinion, what is the draw as far as the sacrifices you have to make to do this? What is it? I mean, you get the fear factor, and then that gets you there. That's the hook. You get the aha moment. That's the line. But what sinks you into the paranormal? What keeps you there after? Well, look at it like this: we haven't had an investigation in a while because we took some time off because we had the show to do and the case studies and everything. So we took some time off. So what keeps people going? What keeps John, Beth, Tom, Johnny, Stephanie, Josh, Kim, Corey,
Polar Bear,
Panji, all these people. What keeps all of these people going when
Preston,
we don't investigate for like
Lydia
5 weeks?
For me, it's people.
The people.
Helping people. Yes.
See, Beth, that's why she's good at what she does, because she likes people. That's why I couldn't never do what she does, because I really don't like people. But Beth does. She's so sweet. So that's a good answer though. Seriously, that's a big draw for me in the paranormal, is the fact that I get to help people, even though I don't like them. I still want to help them, especially when they call me crying and saying my husband's saying I'm crazy, but at 3:00 in the morning. But the people are big. They're big for me as well. And then, but mine would be learning, learning more and finding out more and realizing what things are and how they interact, that type of stuff. I'm fascinated by the knowledge that you gain with each one of these. Yeah, learning has aha moments too. I remember my aha moment big in learning whenever I finally found out that graveyard dirt and coffin nails don't work. That was an aha moment for me.
Right.
John is laughing. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at me? That was an aha moment for me, John. You're hurting my feelings. That was a moment in my life that I said, oh my goodness, I've been carrying these nails around in my pocket and I've got rust stains and scratches.
Johnny, where did you get your coffin nails? Can I ask you that?
Had to keep updating that tetanus,
I know. And then that day I found out it doesn't work. I'm like, what the crap?
Why have I been going to the Witchcraft Beanery and coffee shop and buying these coffin nails? I mean,
and the salt I could have saved.
No, don't forget the sage. Don't forget the sage.
Ice cream you had to do away with homemade ice cream because you wasted your salt. Come on.
No more homemade ice cream. No more sweet watermelon with a tad bit of salt on it. None. I don't get any more of that because I had to use all my salt for Casper.
For Casper.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. And sage, the money I could have saved. That stuff's expensive.
Well, I mean,
I need that for my dressing at Thanksgiving.
Yes, exactly.
Amen. It's really good then.
Some gumbo, man.
That's why I love the educational part of it. I'm glad Tom brought that up, is because we get to find out that what does and what doesn't work and what makes sense and doesn't make sense.
For me, it's always been I love helping other people. More of the training of new investigators. Right. I love being there and seeing the aha moment. I mean, every time I see one, it's like I'm reliving my own.
Right.
And that's always been something I love, is being able to answer that question and then be like, oh, that makes sense. Actually, it's just like, gotcha.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is for me? And I do like all that stuff. I love the education. Y'all know I love the education part. I mean, yes. the whole class that we put together is fun. And I love the people, helping people out and giving them that peace and all that. I love that. But I'm going to be selfish. And not just to be selfish, but because it's the truth. My sinker, my anchor that keeps me in it is the entities. I want to know, see, learn, hear, feel everything I can about every different entity there is. I want to be there to say, oh, that wasn't a spirit, that was a residual. I want to be there. Right. I want to be there when that poltergeist happens, just so I can say, I didn't have a piece of equipment to know this. I just stood in the room and saw it and heard it. I want to confront that demon, that demonic entity. I want to confront them, and
that's your job. I'm not doing that one.
I don't want to experience that. Yeah, in the basement. The demon in the basement. Yep.
Because that's where they all are.
They're always in the basement.
Exactly. I've seen. Now you know why I don't go to basement.
That's the reason. That is the reason. We now know a age-old quandary has been taken away. Now we now know why he doesn't go to the basement.
Because that's where the demons are.
That's where they keep the demons. I'll eat your heart.
I'll eat your heart.
But seriously, the that was kind of intellectually arousing, actually. But
I do not know where to
figure that one out.
No, thank you.
It'll come to you, whether you like it or not. 3 a.m. It'll pop in your head, and you'll sit straight up in bed and say, "Dear God, babe, if I ever say I'm going to Johnny's again, shoot me right now."
Awesome.
But no, it's that I just want to know everything there is to know. I would butt fist, but Beth John's giving butt fist.
Don't do it. Gotta be nice.
But I just want to know everything there is to know about that entity. I used to love it whenever the shadow person would come.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember me telling you that about whenever they would show up?
Yeah.
It would be like if we did like a lot of investigations for a long time, for a long period, like when we were doing one of the history tours or just had a bunch of clients at one time. And, because Beth can tell you there's a time whenever they come in nonstop, and then there's a time where they trickle in, and there's a time where they don't come in at all. So
Right.
it's just that's the nature of the business. But
It's part of that fascination that just keeps you going.
Right, exactly. But it's that I would go for a while and do investigations, and then we would stop, and we would have a little time that we didn't do investigations, be it a week, 2 through 3 weeks, whatever. We would do any investigations. Well, I wouldn't see anything during that portion of it, but whenever we would start back, and not necessarily start back, but just talk about starting back. Between then and when we did start back, that's when I would see the shadow person, almost like a warning or whatever. And
Warning?
I'm paraphrasing. I mean, it's
Okay.
Excuse me. It's.
I got excited for a minute. I'm sorry.
It was like saying don't do it. Don't start back up. You don't need to do this. And I don't know why. That's just whenever I'd see it. They never said anything. Obviously, they never was any threatening way. As a matter of fact, whenever I finally confronted it and asked it what his deal was, then that's when it stopped happening. So, I don't know. Do the math. But maybe now that this is the time that he's literally doing the math. Stop it, John.
Carry the 2.
But maybe now that we've had this little stoppage, when we start talking about going back into it, maybe I'll get a return.
Or maybe he'll visit another one of us. Well, I mean,
Did I tell y'all that I saw a shadow person?
please, no, tell us, Beth. What?
It was when we first moved here at the lake, and there was, this is crazy, but there was this guy that would just stand there at the pier and stare my way. And it was very unnerving, and it would make me mad. And one day he had the nerve to stand closer to my neighbor's porch, looking this way. And I was so mad until he turned and there was no form.
But he didn't have a face, or it was.
There was no face. It was just a dark person standing there. And
so
then,
he's standing there facing you, and
facing
just staring at you like a creepo. And
right.
And then this last time he turns, and it's just like a sheet of paper. There's just no form.
Correctamundo.
Wow.
That's exactly what it was. And you talking about every hair on my head, arm, wherever, standing straight up.
I bet.
It was awesome.
But did you feel that way at the time, Beth?
I was, well, when it happened, yes. It scared me, actually. That scared me.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
You're looking at this creepo.
I was mad.
Yeah.
That this person kept staring at me all that time until they turned.
I'm surprised Beth didn't start bringing her AR-15 out to Unfortunately, shouldn't have to use it. Just
Betsy.
show it.
Betsy came out with me.
I
Trust me.
figured. See, I knew.
Goodbye. Loaded with coffin nails and graveyard dirt.
Yeah, loaded up with graveyard dirt and coffin nails. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, you've seen those bullets. They're made from coffin nails, right?
Yeah. What does it have to be a coffin nail? What has to happen? Can you just manufacture a nail and say this is supposed to be for a coffin, but I'm going to use it for the paranormal? Or does it?
Yeah,
have
I mean, how do you know that it actually came from a coffin?
Yeah, does it have to
What
actually go
authenticates
into the
it?
coffin? That's what I wonder. Does it actually have to spend time in an actual coffin in a grave?
Well, considering coffins don't use nails anymore.
Well, I mean, we're talking past tense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware, but how are people getting new coffin nails?
That's what I want to know.
I mean,
And graveyard dirt too.
well, there's plenty of graveyards you can get dirt.
Yeah,
at.
you can just
Well, I know,
grab
but
your
if they've been
handful of
doing
that.
it for the last 200 years, sooner or later we're going to run out of dirt. I mean, how long do we have to go? I mean, people die every day, so he's doing the math again. Dear Lord.
42. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
42.
Yeah. Graveyard dirt, coffin nails, and what was it? Salt,
Sage.
Sage.
sage. Oh God.
What was it Palo Alto?
Beth, you talked
bark or whatever.
Yeah. Beth, you talked to and the rock crystals.
Yeah,
all that,
crystal, rock candy crystals.
Yeah, but Beth, you talked to pretty much every client we have
Yes.
since you've been on. And
Since you've been on.
have you ever talked to a client and they tell you what's going on? They having all this kind of activity, and then at the end of the day, end of the conversation, you give a date and time and everything, and then you guys hang up, and then sometime between that time of the hang up to the date of the investigation, have you ever gotten a call back from a client that says, "Never mind, we don't need you. We use Sage"?
And not that they've used Sage. No.
Yeah.
We got
No.
a psychic in here, and he only charged us $49.99 per minute. And he went in there psychically because he's out of Tampa, and he went in.
He wasn't actually on scene.
He was not on scene.
He
No.
was in his living room in boxers watching Mayberry
Yeah, I would hope it was maybe
eating
Moberry.
Cheetos.
Now I have had clients call and say that they already tried all that and it didn't work.
Yeah, I've had a lot of them. I'd say a large percentage of the clients that we have told me,
Right.
well, we
And that's
tried
just,
Sage,
people,
but it just didn't work.
your what do you call, just a I want to say a backseat medium or
Right?
something like that.
Yeah, right,
Meanwhile, back at the plot.
right.
Well, another thing I thought of, a reason why that, I continue and look forward to the next one and stuff like that is the people that I do it with,
Yes.
And Johnny, I
Aw.
don't care what John says, you are the best teacher that I know
See, John,
when it comes to, see.
Oh. Well, gosh, just throw me under the bus, Beth.
yeah, right.
Jeez. I love you too.
Crash and
I
burn.
mean,
I appreciate that, Beth.
now I'm
but
gonna
it
have
takes,
to get to hitchhike from here to McCalla.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. But it takes it and not to just turn tail on this, but it takes recipients that are eager and willing and passionate to do that. Because I have had people leave the class and say it was a waste of time. So, it's not for everybody.
It's not.
So it has to. It takes that, not necessarily the passion, because that can come later, but it takes that willingness and that eagerness to want to do this.
Are you a teachable person?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, that's one thing is, some people, all they've heard their entire lives is what Hollywood or the entertainment industry, whatever you want to call them. All they've heard is what the stuff that they put out.
Right.
Whereas, when you come into, the class that we do at Cappy Camp, when people come into that class and they learn from the very basics on what how to do investigations, a lot of people, they just, thought, oh, wait, but what about the sage? What about having to call in an exorcist every 5 seconds? What about, all the things that happen on Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or whatever other, teen you watch? And we're like, no, 99.9% of all that is just, entertainment. And they're just like, what? No, we saw the evidence from this investigation that was real. Actually, that was a guy that actually worked for the production company standing there. How do you know? Well, it turns out we know somebody that was there, or
Why is that? What is it? What do they put on that to make people believe that? I don't think that everybody in the world believes that a guy in a black and red spider suit captured a commuter train from falling off a bridge in his web and saved hundreds of people was real. I don't think anyone watching that ever said that's real.
Spider-Man's not real.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Santa Claus.
But seriously, why do they not believe that? Is it reality? Is that what is just the fact that we put reality in front of the name of the show? Is that what it is? I mean, I'm truly asking the question. I'm truly asking this question. Right. Yeah.
I think inherent in all of us, there's a spiritual understanding, as it were, that we know that there's something greater out there than what is,
or at least we hope there is, anyway.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But I think there's a want. Then how about that? A want for there to be something more.
I think once you realize how fast this life goes, how fast it took you to get to 10, and then you wake up the next day and you're 20,
right?
And the day after your wedding, your child's graduating high school. I think once we figure out how fast this part of the parallel is, we're hoping there's something else, because we're like, okay, this goes by way too quick.
Yeah.
So we've got to look forward to something else. And what else is going to happen to us? I mean, once energy is formed, it can change, it can move, it can grow, it can even shrink, but it can't be dismissed.
Can't be destroyed.
Right. It's there.
Nope.
So once that energy is there, now if you're Christian, of course, you're going to say that, you're just going to spend the rest of your life or the rest of eternity in heaven or hell. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we know that there are parallels, obviously, because then if there wasn't, we would never get any evidence. Right?
Yeah.
So what is it I get the fact that people need to know that there's something there, that they have that hope and that wish that this isn't it,
well,
that it's not just lights out, and so I get that, but what makes people believe what they see in a paranormal show, but they won't believe what the Incredible Hulk did?
It's a good question, Johnny.
It's the way it's presented, I would think.
The presentation?
The presentation, because it's...
You think so?
Because one is definitely presented as fake, and the other is people,
as make-believe.
As make-believe. And
the other one, is it because it's filmed in a different way? It's filmed like you're following someone's life?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's...
I can see that, I guess. I don't get the psyche there that can't differentiate between the two. That just because I go on a show and say I look for spirits, or I look for Yetis, or I look for UFOs, or whatever the case may be.
And I think there's also a little bit of crowd. You can ask 10 people on the street, hey, have you ever had a paranormal experience?
Right.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Right.
I mean, you're going to have at least 2 or 3 that say, yeah, or I believe in it.
Statistically, in the South, it's going to be 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the 70%. Thing is, with that 7%, or it's one of these, how many people have said, yeah, I saw Spider-Man on the side of the Empire State Building.
Right.
I mean, other than in a movie.
Yeah. You know what? I like that, actually, because because they have experienced something that would suggest paranormal, but yet they haven't experienced a guy getting bit by a nuclear spider,
Right.
or a guy getting his B rays, messed up with his gamma rays, and he turns into a green monster,
A green age monster.
Yeah, green age monster. And the but it's I get that, because and that's the best answer I've had of that so far, is because we can see, if you have experienced the paranormal, if you're part of that 7%, that you have experienced that,
There's kinship there.
Yeah, and so you can say, okay, well, I know ghosts exist because I saw Mimo, but I've never seen Spider-Man, jump from building to building. So, and I've never seen Superman fly out of the sky, so that coupled with their want to need something, I think has got a lot to do with it. Why they would believe that,
So,
no matter how far fetched it can get.
I mean, they're filling that spiritual hole, as it were.
Right.
And they can cram it full of Zach Bagans or Dwayne Johnson. I don't know. Well, never mind. I mean, whoever, whatever they fill that hole with.
Right.
And that's what they go to. They might fill that hole with graveyard dirt and coffin nails.
Right.
That might be, what their connection to what they consider the paranormal.
Right.
And that's also probably why a lot of people are so vehement on their belief. Yes, this works.
Right.
This works because, my Aunt Sarah, she gave me this quartz crystal and said that it's going to help protect me from demons.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. If that's your faith, if that's where you want to place it.
Yeah, if that makes you feel
fine.
better. Absolutely.
If it makes you feel good.
Exactly.
If you are reassured by wearing that cross or that crystal or those prayer beads or whatever, go for it.
Yeah.
We're not
I
going
agree.
to.
I agree 100%, because if it makes you not bug the piss out of me during an investigation,
He's a ghost.
yeah, then I'm good. Yeah. And we've had people that did carry graveyard dirt and coffin nails and sage and all this stuff. I tell them the same thing as I would tell someone that's carrying a rosary into an investigation. If it makes you feel better, do it. I don't have a problem with it.
Well,
don't come to me and say, hey, I brought you a coffin nail too because I care. But if it makes you feel better and you're going to stay off my nerves, then yeah, go for it. I have no problem with that.
I've got a St. Christopher's medal or I've got a Michael the Archangel medal that I got. We had a situation where we had someone bring us consecrated crosses, blessed crosses.
Oh, yes.
I've still got mine.
Crosses. I do too.
But yeah, and that's the thing is, we all have where our faith lies. We all have, how we pursue the paranormal in our personal lives.
Right.
And the bottom line is, are you doing it effectively? Are you doing it for the right reasons?
Yeah. And the right reasons can be individualized.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just as long as you're not out there trying to get
money
and famous and all that stuff, because it's not going to happen. I mean, it could, but
not if you're going to keep your integrity.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's, and I don't want to stop this conversation now.
No.
It's starting to get into somewhere where I really wanted to go. So,
well, maybe we need to pick that up next week.
Yeah, let's pick that up next week. Absolutely. And see what we can conclude from it, because that's something that I want to really, really get into, because that is actually, I want to know that there's somebody out there that's listening to this show tonight that has thought about the paranormal, and they want to do it.
Yeah.
But they stay away from it because of whatever reason, because of Zach. And because
I'm scared.
of Grant and everybody else, because, and they're like, well, we don't want to be in that dark hole and something gets thrown
in the
at us
basement
or something, or in the basement with the demons,
or the spiders.
We don't want you conjuring a demon.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's why I want to know that there's somebody out there that's wanting to get into the paranormal and wants to experience it, but won't do it because of the fear, and because they listen to this show, they're like, okay, it's not so bad.
That would be cool.
Yep. That's
That'd
what I
be
want.
awesome.
I want to see that look on their face. A couple weekends ago, I went shooting, and there was an individual there while we were shooting that wanted to shoot with us. And I offered him one of my guns, the 12 gauge. And he didn't want to shoot it. He said, no, I'll shoot everybody else, but I don't want to shoot that. I'm scared of that. It'll hurt. And I told him, the first thing I said was, well, the load that is in it right now is like birdshot. It's just for practice. You know, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to hit you that hard. But he wouldn't do it. He just kept on and on. And then at the very end, I finally talked him into, I said, look, I'm going to put 2 shells in here. Pop them for me. And he said, okay. He finally gave in, and he shot it. He shot the first one. He turned around and looked at me, had a big grin on his face, like, okay, that's cool. It's not what I thought it was. And that's what I want to do with this. You know, I want to show people that it's not going to hurt you. You know, it's not going to kick back. You know, it's not going to make you take something home or make you turn into, what is it, Linda Blair or whatever, you know, with the pea soup and the head spinning. You know, it's not going to do that. You know, and it's not going to be a poltergeist or anything like that. You know, or what we perceive as a poltergeist. But on another thing I want to talk about next week too is I want to continue this because I definitely want to wrap it up, but also want to go into the different types of hauntings too and talk about that as well. Yeah, because people need to know that what they're dealing with, and so because that makes them feel better. But I want to thank John for being here with us as always. My co-host, my radar, my man. What's happening?
Well, thanks for having me as always, Johnny. I love this. This is
pleasure is mine.
Incredible.
Beth, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I don't want to do this without Beth.
No, I think
I've decided that. I just don't want to do it anymore. Beth, if you can't do it, I'm not going to do it. So don't go nowhere.
You have to stay
Hang
right
around.
where you are
That's
until
right.
next week, then the next week.
And tell Tom we love him and thank you for joining us as well.
I will.
Give him hugs
He
for
loves
us.
it. He loves you guys, and he
love
loves
you so
this.
much. Yes. And that's what I want to do. I want to create more Toms and Beths. So, yeah, I want to do that. Let's just clone the earth with paranormal Tom and Beths. There's a movie in that somewhere.
Yeah, so we've got a
there's
band
a movie in there
name.
somewhere. Yeah, and the soundtrack is going to be by Backseat Mediums.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Yeah. Want to thank everybody for showing up tonight and listening to us just run our mouth about the paranormal. Our sponsor tonight was Cappy. So
Yay!
Cappy's our sponsor
Cappy.
tonight. So I want you guys to check out the website, the Cappy website. It's Cappy, CAPI paranormal.com, CAPI paranormal.com. Go check that out. And we've got a lot of events coming up. We've got Cappy Camp coming up in September. So we want to get that out there as well. It's going to be close, John. It's going to be close to the studio.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be right here in Dallas County. It's going to be out at Paul M. Grist State Park in September. We'll get the dates out to everybody once we fashion that down. Give you guys plenty of notice on that as well. But we got till September. We'll figure it out. But yeah, definitely want to get you guys to join us out there and have a good time where you can meet John and I and Beth and Tom and the rest of the team and see what the faces look like to the voices and, you know, all that. Also, check out our YouTube show. It airs every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. All you have to do is put in Cappy Paranormal without the .com. and it'll pop up. You'll see my beautiful... John's got to look on his face because he knew what I was fixing to say. You'll see my beautiful face. See? And you'll see me sitting there and then I'll start talking and just listen to me. But then you can actually join the show as well because it's a live show.
Yes, it's fun to interact with everybody
really
in the
is.
chat.
We have a lot of fun.
Can I add one more thing? If people
Please.
do come to the website, please visit our website, cappyparanormal.com, and drop us a line. Go to contact us and drop us a line and let us know that you're listening.
If you want to sponsor the show, you can go to our website and just pop it on there on contact us and let us know. Either contact me or John. You can also contact us through our email. Mine is jrushing, JRUSHING .capi@gmail.com. And John's is
jbowen, JPOWEN .cappy, CAPI @gmail.com.
That's right. It's a podcast, so you can rewind it if you didn't get all of it.
I talk quick sometimes.
Yeah, that's jbowen, JBOWEN .capi @gmail.com and jrushing, JRUSHING .capi @gmail.com. Either way, you want to get into the sponsorship on the show. We are looking for sponsors to help us pay for this stuff, man. But yeah, get to us and let us know if you want to sponsor the show. It's growing, it's happening, everybody's loving it. We're getting a lot of great feedback on it. John and I can't go anywhere without paparazzis. Okay, I'm going a little too far.
Yeah, that is too far.
But we love you guys so much. I want you to do me a huge favor sometime this week, if you don't mind. Yeah, I don't care if it's a friend, family member, or someone you meet on the street. Make them smile, because that's exactly what we need the most of. We love you guys. We'll see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. right here on Kicks Country 101.5. Good night. God bless.
This has been Cappy, the Real Paranormal Podcast, a presentation of Central Alabama Paranormal Investigations. Please tune in again for the next episode and download any previous episodes wherever you get your favorite podcast.